guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I thought I'd give one of these series rankings a try. I've done that in a live stream before with Andrew and Mizzy, and yeah, but I figure why not make a video out of it, since I did just see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on Sunday. And that finished out that trilogy, so I figure I'm going to rank the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the trilogy. But I'm not just doing the trilogy, I am going to be including the appearances the Guardians have made in all the other Marvel films that they were in. Since I know it's not considered like a Guardians film, but they were significant appearances that did affect the future of the MCU. As you know, for better or worse, usually worse, pretty worse lately, the MCU is all connected, even the TV shows, so all their appearances have meant something. So I'm going to rank them in every movie they have appeared in, including obviously their own trilogy. So that would include Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Guardians Volume 3, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Thor Love and Thunder, and the Guardians Holiday Special. So let me get started. I'm going to start from worst to best. So let me start off with the worst one, and I think their worst appearance would have to be Thor Love and Thunder. I did not like that movie at all. I thought it was garbage. They wasted Christian Bale. Natalie Portman was even kind of wasted. I know she had a big part, but her role was kind of cringy with all the one-liners. And the Guardians were there for a purpose. They were there to help out in the beginning and then go on their separate ways. And that was how they separated them from Thor. So that is how they ended up back on their own in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So that is my least favorite of their appearances. So that is the worst to me, Thor Love and Thunder. So the next appearance that I think would be, you know what, I'm going to count Infinity War and Endgame as one because I think it's one big movie. But yeah, I mean, I loved them. They were great, but at the same time, I think the Russo brothers didn't know how to really handle the Guardians and write for the Guardians, so they weren't used as well as they could have been, and I feel like they kind of just used Star-Lord as some sort of scapegoat to be the reason that their plan failed, and everybody got snapped away. So I just feel like it could have been done better in Infinity War and Endgame. Still love Infinity War, still one of my top Marvel movies. Endgame's pretty good as well, but like I said, I feel like the Guardians were kind of not written or used to their full potential, in my opinion. They were still used pretty well, but again, not as well as they could have been if James Gunn was writing them or directing them. It's just that's my opinion on that one. So that's the Infinity War and Endgame ranking for me. Next up would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which to me is the weakest of the Guardians trilogy. It's not a bad movie. I don't think any of the Guardians films 1 through 3 are bad. So it was the weakest for me. It was the storyline with the dad that I didn't think was all that great. Yeah, I just didn't think that was all that good. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that one. I mean, I love obviously the comedic timing. It introduced Mantis, who I love. But yeah, to me, it is definitely the weakest of the trilogy. It's not the one I go back to most, but let me hold up I forgot to hold this up. It does have a lot of really cool home video releases, and I am wearing a Volume 2 shirt here. You can't see that, but yeah. Guardians Volume 2. Yeah. Anyway, There's a lot of cool home releases of this, and I do have more than one. Like I said, I don't hate this movie. I do like this movie. It's just, to me, definitely the weakest of the three. Look at that cool lenticular. Whee. And there's the back. So yeah, Guardians to the... Like I said, I did like how it introduced Mantis. It made Nebula more of a character that was more in the forefront. It kind of made her join the Guardian, not join the Guardians yet, but like help them out more. Made her less of a bad guy. It did. I liked Yondu's story arc in this movie. I like what they did with Baby Groot. He's not on the cover, is he? Surprise! Oh, he's up there on Star-Lord's shoulder. I like what they did with the Baby Groot. Rocket had an interesting story here. This whole trilogy is more Rocket-centric than you would think, especially Volume 3, but I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so the next one in line for me would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Next, we're getting to the top 3 now. So this, in third place, I would put the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, believe it or not. I had a lot of fun with that. It was short and sweet, 45 minutes. It was a fun little Christmas special. I loved the relationship that Drax and Mantis had, the banter, the back and forth, the making fun of each other. It was great. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun, and of course the major plot line revolving around Kevin Bacon was hilarious. He was great in that as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a fun little special. It does introduce a pivotal plot point for Volume 3. I don't know if I should say it because Volume 3 is fairly new. And yeah, but it involves Mantis and her relationship with another one of the Guardians, and that's all I'll say on that. But it's a fun movie. I don't have a physical because it's not on physical. It's only on Etsy. I'm probably going to order a copy of it from Etsy. I'm not getting into the bootleg debate here, but I'm going to order a copy of it because Disney is never releasing that on physical. So, yeah, that's Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. It is number 3 on my list. Number 2 would be the newest entry in the series, and the final one for this group of Guardians is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I love this movie. A lot of fun. A lot of heart. It was just... it's a great movie overall. The action's great. I love how they kind of brought each Guardian's story to a close. They left... I'm not going to say, actually, that's kind of a spoiler, so I'm not going to say that. But I can't really say too much without spoiling this movie, but I feel like they did a nice job bringing closure to a lot of these Guardians stories. They went through each one. Each one got their own story arc and their own closure. Rocket is very, very prominent in this one. It deals a lot with his backstory, which I found very interesting because Rocket is my favorite character. It was a very, 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 I will say, it's a very sad, sad backstory. And if you're sensitive at all with any sort of like animal cruelty or anything, that's probably gonna hurt you to watch. But I'm not gonna say more than that. Please go see that movie. It's just a great movie. You'll have a fun time. Even if you're not a Marvel person or a big Marvel fan and you're kind of burnt out because all the crap they've been releasing in Phase 4, this one's different. This one's actually legitimately a really good movie. It's nearly perfect. Can't say what I didn't care for too much about it without spoiling things involving the villain and the secondary villain, so I'm not gonna say anything there, but it's a near perfect movie to me. So that only leaves the number 1 spot. That's obviously the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is a really cool Nova Media lenticular. This is another one that's got a lot of cool home media releases. This movie, this was quite a surprise. I never heard of the Guardians before they announced this movie, and when I went to see it, I'm like, who the fuck are the Guardians of the Galaxy? But I saw the trailer, I'm like, it's got a cool soundtrack. That's one thing I do want to say. All these movies have killer soundtracks. The soundtracks are so good. But yeah, I mean, like, I didn't know who, the general public probably didn't know who the Guardians were unless you read the Marvel comics. That's the only way you would know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. I had no idea who they were. Went to see the movie, absolutely loved it. Had a lot of fun. It's a blast. It's obviously how the Guardians became to form the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's funny. It's action packed. It's just a great story. I really, really enjoyed this one. This is my favorite soundtrack as well. This is a great soundtrack. Yeah, this is not only one of my favorite. This is not only my favorite Guardians movie, one of my top 5 Marvel movies. It's one of my top 5 movies of all time. So I really love this movie. Can't recommend this movie highly enough. Yeah, and again, in my opinion, Guardians of the Galaxy is Marvel's best trilogy. That's my opinion. You can disagree. That's fine. But to me, this is their best trilogy. Iron Man got nothing on the Guardians. Captain America's probably right below the Guardians for me. Yeah. So that is my ranking on the whole Guardians series and all of their appearances in the MCU. So let me know your ranking down below, and thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.